So I've signed up for this 3-month intensive language course, and it's called Lingoda, and basically I'm going to be doing it to improve my French. And you have to do 1-hour class every single day for 3 months, so 90 classes. And if you follow the rules and don't miss a single class, you actually get your entire payments refunded. So yeah, I'll link it below, but it's called the Lingoda Super Sprint. So I'm just going to be sharing what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 months and how I'm going to study. Basically, my end goal after this is to be in the B levels. That's B1 or B2. I probably won't be B2, but B1 is lower intermediate. The reason I really want to get out of these beginner levels is because I feel like it's at the point where you're above just being able to say hello, goodbye, and things like that, but you're not far enough in your language learning journey to be able to really converse and really understand everything, 90% of what you're reading. So the first thing that I've done, and if you're doing the Lingoda Sprint as well, I highly suggest doing this, is booking everything way in advance. So I got my class credits, 1 credit equals 1 class, and I've literally booked all my classes for the next month. So you don't have to be that intense with it, but I just decided that I wanted to have every single class ready to go in there, so I wasn't unsure about what I'd be doing and I could prepare for that session. But basically how I decided what level I was is I took the Lingoda placement test. Based off that, they tell you which level you should be in, and I got the beginning of A2. So looking at all my classes, it's separated into all levels, so A1.1, A1.2, A2.1. I'll put on the screen, but I've literally laid out every single class I wanted to do in the entire 3 months, and I put in the dates that I wanted to do them in. Now, one thing that I didn't take into consideration when I did this was that they don't have every single class you want on every single day you want. So pretty quickly I realized that I needed to choose which classes, and not necessarily in order. Also, you can't cancel a class closer than 7 days before the class happening. So that's kind of something to consider as well, is I was trying to think about, are there any days that I know in the next week or 2 weeks or a month that I'm not going to be able to do a class after work, because I planned all of my classes to be after work. When I was looking at Reddit posts on people that hadn't passed or hadn't successfully completed the Lingoda Sprint, I saw one reason was that they didn't wake up in time or they didn't remember to set their alarms, and then they missed the first 20 minutes of the class, which is a no-go. So that's how they failed, and I really do not want to fail just because I forgot to set an alarm or I don't wake myself up in time. So the next thing that I did after deciding on all the classes I wanted to do, doing the placement test, booking the classes, is I actually noted down which teachers I got most of the time. So I think in total, in the first month, because you can only book 1 month at a time of classes, in total I have about 5 different teachers, but one of them I have for 80% of my classes. So I just put down all of their names because I read on some Reddit posts and people who've done this sprint that you tend to find teachers that you really like and some that maybe you're not so fond of. And I just wanted to make sure that I identify which teachers I liked or which I didn't, so that I can change my classes to be with another teacher, because you don't have to have that teacher to teach that class. There's so many different teachers. So if you didn't already think that my planning is already too intense, the next thing that I did is that I put everything into a calendar and then I put it on my wall. So I printed off these sheets, I printed off extra. It's just these sheets with some notes on the side, and pretty much I put in every single time for every single class. Now you can just do this online, or they have an option for you to put it in your calendar, and I just wanted something physical I could put on the wall, mark off each day. One thing as well that I did, and it's might be a little bit subjective on whether or not I should do the Lingoda Sprint like this. But basically, when I was deciding which classes I wanted to do, there's different types of classes. So there's speaking, vocab, grammar, skills, reading and writing. I think that's all of them. And each class focuses on that area as well as introducing more vocabulary and things like that. So personally, when I was looking at the materials, because you can look at all of the materials of classes that you're not actually doing, when I was looking at the materials, I was looking at the vocab classes and I saw that it's literally just vocabulary. There's no explanation, there's no, like when you compare it to the grammar classes where they really emphasize talking about why you need to do something like that, or the skills classes which they teach you like how to ask questions, I decided that I don't really want to spend a class or spend my credit on a class that's just teaching me vocabulary. So what I've decided to do is do literally no vocabulary classes and instead use those credits, which I think was about 22 vocabulary classes, to just do more skill and more grammar and more speaking classes. I figured that I could just do the vocab class in the morning that relates to the class that I'm doing in the afternoon. For example, the vocab class is only correlated for the next week's speaking or reading class. So for the days that I'm doing that class, I've just put in the morning that I'm going to be doing the vocab for that class in the afternoon. And I really like doing it that way because since I couldn't have the classes in order anyway, there was no point in me doing a vocab class, you know, the first week and then the speaking class for that vocab on the fourth week. I would have probably forgotten everything. Also, for other people that are actually doing the Lingoda Sprint, something that I thought was funny and that I didn't realize is that you can literally see all of the course material, even for classes you're not doing. So what I've already done is I've downloaded the material for the upper B1 levels, like the content that I know I won't be able to reach in the 3 months. And I've just downloaded all of it. I'm just gonna continue on with it after the sprint is over. So that kind of sums up how I've organized myself for the upcoming 3 months and how I'm going to be studying for it. So in my next videos, I want to go into more detail as well about different things that I use to study and not just the Lingoda side of it, because there's heaps of material that I use, like language learning books, movies that I absolutely love and I think are really helpful, and YouTube channels that I love watching. So let me know if that's something you might be interested in. So thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.